Okay, good afternoon, everybody. It's the 9th of July, 2023. And I'm back. I'm back in what I call my studio, which is a bit of a grandiose name for a room that's 2 meters by 2 meters. But we've got rain this afternoon. We've got the last remnants of rainy season here in Japan. So I couldn't get out on the bike. I could not get out on the kayak. I were hoping to go and do a kayaking podcast episode this week, but it wasn't to be. So I'm at home now, and I've decided to do this episode 107 from In the House. Now, what I want to talk to you today about is something that I've been doing for the last 3 months. Something that has been life-changing for me. Nope, not been murdering prostitutes. No, and I've not been mugging pensioners. Although, an idea. Nope. What I've been doing, not what I've been doing, what I finally gave into, shall we say. What I finally gave into was, hang on, let me go back in, frog in my throat. Hang on, let me just get some water in me. I've got a voice like Barry White. Hang on. Right. What I've been doing for the last 3 months, I have been fasting. Cue eye roll from everybody listening and watching. Yeah, I decided to go on this intermittent fasting because I was sick and tired of hearing people talk about it. So I thought, oh, fuck it, I'll try it. So I jumped on it. Now, let me give you backstory. So early 90s, 91, 92, I got myself horrifically fat. Now, by today's standards, I was just a normal fella walking about. But back in 91, I got myself up to my heaviest, which was 17 stone 7. Now, for people living in the countries that do that in kilograms, that's 113 kilos I got myself up to. Now, 113 kilos or 17 stone 7 back in 91, 92 would have people stopping in the street or staring at you as you walked past. Yeah, I were the biggest fucker on the block back then. And it was my own fault. I was surrounded by negative people. I just ate bullshit. Constant bullshit for months and months and years. And then I even got to the point where I stood on the scales and it read 17 stone 7. And I did not know if that were good or bad. That's how much you are or you weren't taught about nutrition at school. Nutrition and keeping healthy. You were never taught that at school. So I didn't know what that meant, what 17 stone meant back in 1991. Now, Jesus Christ, you can walk around any major industrialized country at 17 stone 7, 113 kilos, and you are not even close to being one of the fattest people on the street that day. Not even close. Anyway, when I were walking around at that weight, it were all that's in my mind. I fucking hated it. I hated being that size. I went into to buy some jeans, and I said, "Have you got these in 42s?" And he said, "Not in this shop, old pal." So yeah, I couldn't even find jeans to fit me. So around, I think it was just before USA World Cup, I thought, I'm going to get this shit off. So I got on my bike and I went cycling and it just fell off me. It fell off me. I got myself down to 12 stone 8. 12 stone 8 from 17.7. So what's that, 5 stone? Yeah, I dropped 5 stone. And towards the end of that summer, I was cycling about 30, 35 mile a day. It just fell off so quick, and I couldn't believe how quick it was falling off. So I did that, and then a few years later, slammed it all back on again. Again, when I lost it the first time, I got rid of all the negative people in my life. Then I got down to my target weight. I thought, right, we're done now. Then it's easy enough to keep it off. And then I got back to my old ways. Negative people came into my life, and I slammed it all on again. Got shut of all those. Got shut of the last remnants of those people in 2006, and I've been fine ever since. Absolutely fine ever since. So, what I did last year, around this 11 months ago, I took my bike up to Hokkaido and I cycled across Hokkaido. Now, before that trip, I was 78 kilos, which is about 12 stone 4, 12 stone 5. And I thought because it was going to be so hot and I was going to be cycling at least 80 mile a day, that I needed to put some weight on. I needed to bulk up. So then when I did lose the weight, I wouldn't dip below the 78. So for 3 weeks before I went up to Hokkaido, I ate. I got 3 big pots of organic crunchy peanut butter. Oh, Jesus, and I ate that, and I was just throwing in the carbs for 3 weeks. So by the time I flew up to Hokkaido, I were 83 kilos. I'd put on 5 kilos in 3 weeks. Thought nothing of it. I thought I'll lose it, easily lose it. So I did the cycling and I got to Sapporo, and by the time I got to Sapporo, I'd only lost 3 of those 5 kilos. So I were at 80. And I thought, I'll lose that. I'll lose that during rest of summer. Anyway, I was cycling constantly. I did one cycle. I did a full loop of the Tokyo Bay, and I thought that is going to get the last 2 kilos off, because it were over 120 mile in one day. Got on the scales, I wasn't even under 80. So I kept on, and over from August last year to April, March this year, it gradually kept going up and up and up and up and up. And I got to 84 kilos. Now, I were eating healthy, but I just wasn't losing it. I was slowly putting it on. Now, listening to all these influencers waxing lyrical online about fasting, I just couldn't see myself doing it, because I hate these people who already looked good before they did anything of substance. They already look good. So you're not coming from a place of shite to look better. You already look good, and you look slightly better now. Now, this 84 kilos were playing on my mind, because that's 6 kilos above what I was before I decided to bulk up for this Hokkaido ride. So I thought, I'll fucking try it. Let's try it. So the first one I tried was 16 hours of fasting and 8 hours of eating. And my 8-hour window was from 12:30 lunchtime to 8:30. But I stopped eating at 8. So I had a 7.5 hour eating window. Now, the first day I did it, the night before, I stopped at 8. Stopped eating at 8. And I went and didn't eat that following morning. I got up, I did my usual routine. Now, what I would usually do in the morning is 8 tablespoons of porridge soaked in water. I'd let them soak while I did my stretching and I did my exercise. The exercise would be 200 push-ups, 200 sit-ups, and 200 body squats. Shower, come back, porridge. Nothing added, no peanut butter, a little bit of coconut oil, and some pure cocoa powder just to give it a bit of niceness, shall we say. And some honey, some organic honey. Now, I thought that were healthy because then I would be jumping on my bike and cycling to work. And the return there and back during the day is 14 mile. So we're doing that exercise in the morning, and I was doing 14 mile, at least 40 mile a day on the bike. The needle wasn't moving on scales. So this first morning, I forego the porridge. I didn't have any of the porridge at all. And instead, I had 2 cups of coffee. Now, during that time when I'm eating, which is like a 20-minute window, I've now got this time to do something else. So to get my mind off it that first morning, I decided to plan what I had to do after work because I work after I finish work. So I did all that planning and I got it done. And my brain was clear. So when I got on the bike and cycled off to work, I'd already fasted for 12 hours. Now, the thing I was worrying about is I'm not going to have enough energy. Breakfast, the most important meal of the day. That's what you were told. It's the most important meal of the day. Now, I went back into that and looked online, and that was just a tagline from Kellogg's back in the day. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. And all it were doing, all that tagline, that slogan was just something to get you to buy more cornflakes. Now, ever since I were a kid, that sentence, that saying, has been engraved on the inside of my skull. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. And when you look into it, it isn't at all. It isn't at all. Because you're waking up in the morning and your body's waking up. It doesn't need an influx of food straight away because you're starting to wake up. Now, for years and years and years, and I can't remember when I started doing it, I've been doing it that long. The first thing I do when I wake up is get a litre of water down me. So that sort of wakes my body up, and then I would have my breakfast. So I didn't bother with breakfast. So when I got to work, I were expecting to be all wobbly legged and dizzy, but it was the exact opposite. There were no brain fog. There were nothing. I felt better. I did feel a lot better. So sat down at my desk, and there's usually snacks out at our work where you can dip in. There's chocolates left out and senbei, which are rice crackers, and no sugar on the senbei. So you can dip in. And I thought, that's going to be the test. If I can get to 12:30 without having any of them snacks, I think I'm going to be all right. So, because I hate when other people are right when I think they're going to be wrong. When other people are right, and I've poo-pooed this idea for years and years and years, and it turns out the immediate effect is so positive. I don't like admitting to it. It's a northern thing, I'm sure. But I felt much better. I felt much better. So I go into the work. Now, first thing in the morning, I'm usually yawning and, yeah, bullshit stuff because I'm bored and I wasn't bored. I were engaged. So we go all the way through to 12:30. And I thought to myself, I could have gone another few hours without eating. But I sat down and around 1:15, I had my lunch. Now, I didn't change anything with my lunch. So it was natural yogurt with a banana in and a protein bar. And I have a, a protein shake. That's my lunch. That's what my lunch has been forever. Forever. Had that. Now, my glucose wasn't spiking that much. So, because I'd fasted for the 16 hours before, for me, this is me talking, I didn't have that spike. So, in that 2-3 o'clock window that you have in the afternoon, I wasn't falling asleep. I wasn't passing out. I wasn't yawning. I was still firing upstairs. And it were great. So I got home and then off I went to do my evening stuff. And then I got back about 6 and then I had a window of an hour. And then thinly sliced steak on a bed of salad, some organic cheese grated up over the top of it, and some clear sesame dressing. No creamy bullshit in it on top. So I would eat that, and then whatever's left in the bottom of the bowl, you'd usually have some of this sauce, and I'd get some of the rice that my wife's dad sends up that he grows down in the Japanese countryside. Put that on a little bit more of the sauce, mix it up, and eat that. I would then have some more yogurt before bed and a cup of mint tea. That is what I would normally eating every day. Now, because I were fasting and the window has shrunk, again, I hate saying this, the food tasted nicer. It tasted sweeter. It seemed to do more good for me. And also, because the window's shorter, I felt fuller. So I was thinking, this is, the next day, it can't be as good as this. Next day were better. The next day were better. Now, let me just I'm just going to stand up here. Now, I wrote this down as I were going through all this. Am I? Oh, my glasses are here. So, I looked into it. Now, this is from In-House Studio Fitness. It's an Australian company, and it's who I went to after doing this for a month, and I was noticing parts that towards the end of the fast, I could feel something going on in here that I've never felt. But it felt like you were anxious, but you weren't anxious, but you had the same physical feeling, if that makes any sense. But I wasn't anxious at all, but I still had that butterflies thing in my chest. So what happens? You start your fast. Now, I started mine at 12 and finished at 7:30, 8 o'clock because those are my danger hours at night. I would finish eating at 7 and then I'd just graze till about 9, 10 o'clock. Couldn't stop myself eating and then go to bed. And I didn't want to be doing that. So I ate my big meal as late as I possibly could. So after between 4 and 8 hours, your blood sugar has just fallen. Now, I would be asleep by then. So the blood sugar has fallen and all your food in your stomach has passed through it and gone into your colon. So your stomach, after 8 hours at the latest, has broken down all that food that's gone in and then it's passed through to the colon. So your stomach is completely empty and you stop producing insulin. You've stopped producing that after 8 hours. Okay, after 12, so that would be 7 o'clock in the morning. By that time, I've been up 2 hours. I've worked out. I've had a shower. I've got 2 cups of black coffee without sugar or milk in me. Filter coffee, none of that freeze-dried crap. And I've had a shower and I'm getting ready to go out of the door. So by the 12-hour mark, all the food that you've eaten has been burned off. And your digestive system shuts down because there's nothing to digest. So all that shuts down. And then the body starts to heal itself. So your growth hormone increases. Now, around that 12-hour mark is when I'm throwing a leg over my saddle to cycle to work. So I'm not really noticing what's going on with my body because I'm concentrating on road and I'm cycling. Now, at the 14-hour mark, which would be 9 o'clock, that's when I'm usually starting to work at work. That's when your body starts to burn the fat. So those first 14 hours, it's pulling the sugar and the glucose out of the food that you've eaten, out of the cells, and it's using that to burn everything up. At the 14-hour mark, that's all gone. So the body is then getting into the fat, and it's taking your energy from all the fat that you've got in your body. So at that 14-hour mark, you're losing fat, which just makes me fucking smile. You're losing fat. And that growth hormone that kicked in at the 12-hour mark has fucking skyrocketed. And like I said, it wasn't a feeling of emptiness. It was like an anxiety without any anxiety, if that makes any sense. And then you get to the 16-hour mark. Now, I was 16 and a half hours. I was fasting for 16 and a half hours. But by that 16 mark, your body goes into overdrive, burning up this fat. And at that point, I wasn't even thinking about food. I was just thinking about what my body were doing. It felt weird. But when I read about it at that 16-hour mark, that's when the body starts like a runaway train and it's just pulling in fat from here, there, and everywhere, all the cells in your body, and it's just chewing up that fat. So that was the 16-hour mark. Now, when I broke my fast, banana and a yogurt. So it were a light meal that I ate, very light meal that I ate, and I've always done that. I'm not one. I think it's because I'm a tight bastard, so I don't like spending much money on lunch. So a yogurt, protein drink, and a protein bar. Fuck all. It's less than £1. So after about a month of that, I just stopped with the protein bars because I was looking. Some of them protein bars have got 200 calories in them and a lot of sugar. And I was trying to get shut of that sugar. So I just knocked the protein bars on head. So that were 200 calories that I could pull from somewhere else. Now, after about 3 months of that, I'd gone from 84 kilos to 79. So I dropped 5 kilos, and then I plateaued. I was at 79 kilos for such a long time. Now, I was fine with sticking at 79 kilos, or I thought I was. Then this fucking thing upstairs kicks in, the brain kicks in, thinking, but you were 78 before, you were 78, what are you doing? You've got that extra kilo, So I kept doing the 16-8 for another couple of weeks, and it seems like my body had got used to it and I was just going to be staying at that. So for the last 3 weeks, I've gone to 20 hours with no food, with a 4-hour eating window. So now I'm only eating for 4 hours. So my eating window now is from 3 o'clock in the afternoon till 7. I'm eating exactly the same food as I were eating on the 16/8 fasting plan. So my window has shrunk by 50% to 4. Now, what they say you should do is during that fasting window, the best thing is not to feast. So don't eat for 4 hours. Don't eat for 4 hours. Still have 2 meals. So as soon as that bell hits for 3 o'clock, I'll sit down and I'll have that yogurt. I'll have those raisins. I'll have that banana all in there, protein drink, and I'll get that first down. And if I'm still working, again, no tiredness, no brain fog, nothing, absolutely nothing. Okay? But I am eating twice. So I will eat at 3 o'clock and then I'll eat at 6:30 till 7. Now, is there a difference? Is there a difference? Yes. But the first week of doing the 20-4 ratio, from 1 till 3, the way that your body ramps up, you can tell the difference. From 11 till 1, you know that you can tell that your body is chewing on the fat in your body. But from 1 till 3, it's something that I've never experienced anymore. And it wasn't scary. It wasn't scary at all. But your body is just, I wouldn't say it's in panic, but it's just reaching at these fat stores and it's just chewing and chewing and chewing on this fat. So I stopped weighing myself every week and I left it for 3 weeks. So I started this at the start of the second week in June. No, I didn't. I started it the middle of June. And I got on the scales this morning. So I've given myself just over 3 weeks. I got on the scales this morning and I am 77 kilos dead. So I've lost another 2 kilos, which I'm so fucking happy about because I've not been 77 kilos in such a long time. So what my aim is now is I want to get myself below, if I need to, 76.2. So I'm 77 now. I need to lose, what if 800? Not 800 grams, is it? 800 grams. No, I don't know. But I need to get down to 76.2. Call it 2 kilos. I need to lose 1 kilo. So I need to lose £2, 2.2 pound in the next 3 weeks. And then I am in the realm of, I'm in the 11 stone realm. Obviously I'm 11 stone 13, but I'm in the 11 stone area and I haven't been in that area since I were about 17. But for any of you that are planning on doing it, and I fully understand when you see it online and people are talking about the benefits of fasting. Oh, it's absolutely fantastic. And you don't want to listen to them. This dumb fuck Yorkshireman who was impressed by absolutely fuck all, really, has tried it. It's worked. It makes you feel better about yourself. And the weight has just fallen off. 77 kilos. 77 kilos. When I used to be 113. I'm now 77. My shorts that I bought when I were 80 kilos are not fitting right. So I'm going to have to buy myself some new clothes, or so I thought. But I'm going back to Europe in about 3 weeks. So really, I could do with being 75, because once I'm in Europe and there's cheese and there's bread and there's fish and chips and there's pies, I think I'm going to be up. If I can get back to Japan after 3 weeks and be under 80 kilos, I'll be happy with that. So, in summary, to sum it all up, I have eventually succumbed to fasting. I didn't want to do it because I saw people that I didn't like doing it and saying it was fantastic. I didn't think anything could be as positive as what they were reporting on. And I've tried it and it is. And I'm not easily impressed by shit. But the fasting has been a fucking game changer for me. And just try it for a week, see how you go. But it's been three and a half, 4 months for me now, and I can't see myself going back. So the recommendation from a Yorkshireman who gets excited about nothing is give it a go if you're a little bit fat. And hopefully this weather will have peaked up next week, and I'll be out on the road again to do my final Japan podcast of the summer, I think. Or I might get back the last week in August and get another one under the wire. I might just get another one under the wire. But that next week will be the last one from Japan in about 4 or 5 weeks. I'm taking it international. I'll be doing podcasts in Singapore, UK, get one done in Belgium before I'm back again in Japan. So I'll see you next week for the last Japanese one. Thank you very much for subscribing. Thank you very much for downloading. Pass it on to your friends. If you're going to do this fast, write down in the comments how you've got on. And I'll see you next week. Thanks for listening.